Hello and welcome back to Quartzlight. Quartzlight, if you don't know, we're a small YouTube channel looking at car brochures from around the world. Today, we're going to look at a couple of brochures from the US for the SAAB 96 and the estate version, the SAAB 95. So let's run the introduction and have a look at them brochures. So the SAAB 96 was produced between 1960 and 1980. However, on this episode we're going to concentrate on the two-stroke, three-cylinder models, which was produced up till 1968. The brochures we're going to first look at are these tiny little brochures from the US. So you can see the really little tiny brochures dated 1964, so they just have the two-stroke engines on them. So this is the first of the 1964 brochures, and as you can see, it is very small. And it is from the US. We can open this brochure up, and it's kind of like a fold-out style brochure. Very small, so it's very hard to read, unfortunately. But it's particularly already starting to talk about the aircraft, of course, at this time. Really, SAAB was more known for its aircraft than its cars. It does fold out still further. It's beautiful coloured SAAB 96, and then it shows the three models available at that time. So this is your 96. You can see a very beautiful, very aerodynamic type of shape. I've always had a huge interest in these early SAABs. They really are a beautiful but very strong vehicle. The 95, that was the estate or station wagon version. Same engines on these two models, an 841cc two-stroke engine. As you can see, a lot more practical, and you even had this third row where passengers could seat rearwards. And then this model is often forgotten, the Monte Carlo 850. Still using the same engine, but now we've got a triple carb setup, so a carb on each cylinder and an oil injection. It's also got this very sort of sporty steering wheel, and it talks about these gauges and likening them to aircraft gauges. Again, that very close relationship with the aircraft company at this time. And it does also show on the back some information on there as well. This is the specifications. It's very tiny, so I do apologise for that. And then over here it's talking about the braking system and outstanding SAAB Swedish quality. The other small brochure that we have is kind of like a similar sort of idea. Again, it's from the US, this one. Again, it's showing the 95 estate, the 96, and also the performance version. Although it's got a different name on this brochure. Again, it folds out. This one's got a rather nice dealer stamp on it from Brooklyn, Massachusetts. But a similar sort of idea as the previous one, showing three models: the SAAB 96, the 95, and this time the SAAB Gran Turismo 850 or GT 850. Similar to these aircraft style gauges on it. Same idea with the triple carb setup. And I always think this is quite a nice graphic for the 95, showing, you know, the different people and different cargo setups you can have. Again, on the back there's a few little images for the various models. However, this brochure is very small and difficult to see on camera, so we will have a look at a larger brochure too. So on this new brochure now, it is a full-size brochure now, so we can have a better look at this particular model. This is a SAAB 95, so the station wagon or estate version. Just two doors, there isn't a rear passenger door like the Saab 95, but a way more practical vehicle than the 96, having that sort of seat at the back and also that extra luggage space as well. This particular brochure is also from 64. It's also from the US, so they did produce the full-size brochures as well. And as we open the brochure, the first thing that strikes me about this brochure is this beautiful interior. This dashboard in white and this white steering wheel really does look very classy for a cheaper end of market. It really doesn't an average vehicle in many ways, or an average vehicle that really wasn't that average, I guess. This is a 1964 brochure for the 1965 model year. Like I say, this is the Saab 95, so it's the estate version. And it says, if you're in need of a family carryall, or just not the type for a truck or a bus, why not try a car? The Saab station wagon. Of course, this is for the US market, so trucks were also an option for a lot of people, as they are now. And it's talking about a bus, probably liken it to something like a Volkswagen bus. On the right hand side of the page, it shows these nice seats and these different sort of captions on the bottom. So it's got here floor pedals for 65, or the suspended type, and then fresh air enters at the cowl, and it's showing this rear hatch opening. It's talking about stale air exhaust here, maintaining a constant flow of fresh, warm or cool air. Keeps windows fog free too. The new 65 features an exclusive feature for any station wagon today. It's also talking about the seats being adjustable, and this bonnet or hood opening towards the front of the vehicle. And on the centre pages, it's showing really the practicalities of it being an estate. Similar to that very tiny brochure, we've got captions showing, the different options for people and luggage, some very nice little graphics. It's also talking that there are 7 feet of sleeping available, delighting the station wagon camper. So again, almost liking it to a Volkswagen bus really. And some very sort of 60s captions. I particularly like this little skiing scene here. That's very, very nice and very of its time. And thinking about that, often see sort of skis and things being shown on cars, but in reality, how many people do put skis on a car? But anyway, I detract from what we're looking at. Let's look at the next page. On the next page there's various little things, but first of all, this nice cutaway of the 95. It says, even though the Saab station wagon certainly isn't a land yacht, many owners comment on how ship-shaped the Saab is. That's because everything is either ever so handy or ever so out of the way when not needed. There's no waste of space. On the right hand side, it's talking about this two-stroke cylinder engine. It says Saab's two-stroke cylinder engine is admittedly different. Has only 3 cylinders, no valves, only 7 major moving parts, very little to go wrong, but so much to produce power. 44 brake horsepower for 1965, and you get as much as 30 miles per gallon. Saab's new powertrain includes an engine with higher compression and a new type of air intake filter. Also, a new hydraulically operated clutch that requires no lubricants, new outer drive shaft joints, new pneumatic fuel pump, and an improved cooling system. Saab, of course, has front-wheel drive. This means that the powertrain is up front where it belongs, where the action is. Must be a sound principle because the Saab's arrangement broke a US land speed record. So a little bit of an interesting text there. And as we turn the final page, the last page is the specification page. So if you do want to have a look at this, you could pause the video now, remembering that this is a US spec brochure. Particularly like at the bottom there, that Saab aircraft in that sort of very graphic drawn image. I particularly like that. It says Saab, world's only car engineered to aircraft standards. This final brochure we're going to quickly look at is again the Saab 95 and 96 in this one, and it's a later brochure from 1967. 67 is when the 96 V4 came into the market, so it will show some images of that as well, although we're going to look mainly at the V4 on a later brochure. First of all, when we first turn the page, a very wordy brochure, and we're not going to spend too long on this brochure, so we're not going to read it all, but basically anatomy of a winner, the daring Saab automobile. This first paragraph is quite interesting. The Saab didn't become a winner by accident, but by design, because the men who built this car knew, and there are really only two kinds of car, winners and losers. Yeah, and then it talks about rally winning success, and it's also talking about top speed of 90 miles per hour, 0 to 50 in 10 seconds. More interesting, this beautiful interior, very classy interior again, like I said. So let's move on to the next page. The image here, a Saab sedan. Again, this is a US brochure. The image of the car is actually showing a V4. You can see the V4 badge on that front wing or front fender there. 1967, we could buy the two-stroke three-cylinder engine or this V4. We're not going to talk too much about the V4 in this episode. That's going to come later on. Next page showing the what it calls the Saab station wagon, the Saab 95. Again, a V4 badge on this one. This will be the V4 version of that 95. Again, you could still get that two-stroke three-cylinder engine at this time. Centre page shows a lovely image of what would have been the Saab range in 1967, the 95 Estate, the 96 sedan or saloon, and also this is showing the V4 models and the non-V4 models, the two-stroke three-cylinder. Like I say, if you just look at the fenders, you can see the V4 badges on the ones that are equipped as such. Also, rather a lovely thing on the top right-hand corner, there is a nice red Saab Sonic there. This page looks like it is showing the two-stroke models in these images. Again, the Saab 96, 95. It talks on the left page about the 95 being this living room on wheels and some of the dimensions. On the right hand side, it's showing all the new textures and colours are available, although there isn't any names associated with them. Now we can see those two models side by side. There's two different engine choices. On the left, we've got that two-stroke three-cylinder 841cc engine, what they refer to as the Shrike engine, guaranteed for a lifetime, it says. And on the right, this is the Saab V4 engine, a Ford Taunus engine. The two-stroke was actually offered till 68, so this is kind of like the last year it was really offered before the Saab V4 took over proper. Saab is the safest small car in the world, and in the specifications, both for that 841 two-stroke three-cylinder engine and this newer 498cc four-stroke V4 that would eventually replace it. So there we go, the Saab 95 and 96. Like I said, the V4 would eventually take over, but like I said, test drive a Saab, find what it's like to be a winner. Yes, indeed, I think the Saab 95 and 96 were great cars. They were very well built. They really did last. And indeed, I ended up buying a Saab 96 myself, a V4 version. But like I said, we'll look more about the V4 in an episode sometime in the future. So please do like and of course subscribe. It's all free. There'll be many more car brochure videos coming up in the future. But for now, we'll say take care and goodbye.